Fine. So files are created using a batch JSON. Then how to create a file using a 3.2 in the foreground? Example, batch 11 dot not 10 11 dot ksds dot what's the file name given? Student. Yeah, student. Allocate. If you allocate, it will give either PS file or PDS. But if you give vsam utilities, V. Here, define 1, delete 2, information 3. So I want to define. Okay, what do you want to define? Do you want to define a cluster? Do you want to create a GDG or non-vsam? Like this, we have a lot of things here, but we don't go with all these. We create a cluster, we create alternate index, we create a GDG. These three things we do from the vsam utilities, not other options. Only these alternate index, cluster, generation data. Now I want to create a cluster. So what is the option we need to give here? 3, cluster. So define cluster. Okay. So now, see this one, name of the cluster, and then space units. 1 is the cylinders, 2 is the tracks. So I'm using a 2 here. So primary quantity 5, secondary quantity 2. And volumes, S7, S1. Okay, buffer space. You can give anything, but control interval size, important here. Okay, 1024. And then free space, 10% here. Free space CA percent. Free space CA percent. 10, 10. If I want to give it 20, 20, I can give it like this. And then share options, cross region, region parameter, system parameter, 2, 3. So average record size, 40. Maximum record size, 40. Record size, average, maximum. Okay. So these are the options. One second. This option is required. This option. This is here. Okay. 5, length is 5, offset -1 is a 0. And type of the data set. Yeah. So indexed. So we can fill the options here. Whereas here, we give a ID cams and we give the parameters here. No much difference. So let me hit enter. So it is giving a same options here. Define cluster, name of the cluster, tracks, volume serial, buffer space, control interval size, CISZ or control interval size, free space, FSPC or free space, keys, record size, RECSZ or record size, share options or SHR, both are same, indexed. See here, it is closed here. That open braces cluster, open braces closed here. Then again a continuation, data component, index component. So now exec. Written code 0. So instead of creating with ID cams, we can also create with the option V of a ISPF 3.2. Guys, are you able to follow this? Guys.
Yes, sir.
So it's almost similar to the ID cams. No much difference. So which is easy. If you have an ID cams utility for an existing vsam file, just copy it and then change some of the attributes and then submit it. That's much easier. Okay. So let's see with this batch 11 dot ksds dot. Same. Here also the vsam file is created. So let's see the prepared once again. Okay. So define is completed. Also delete is also covered. How do you delete a vsam file? Delete file name. Define a delete with id cams. So we have 4 types of vsam files. Out of that, for a programming purpose, we use 3 files. One file is used for the DB2 physical storage of the data. That's RRDS. And out of the 3 files which we use in the programs, we use only one file extensively. That's a KSDS file. ESDS file is almost like a flat file. Instead of using ESDS files, we use a flat files in the batch application. But if you want to write data in the sequential order in CSS environment, we go with the ESDS files. RRDS file is never used. Okay, just leave it. But it is almost similar to, it has a options of ESDS files as well as KSDS files. Okay, so it is having some attributes of ESDS file and KSDS files. So can I go to the program now? Define is over. Then how to use the first next thing? How to define? So what are the types of vsam files? What are the differences between these files? And how do you create a vsam file? What are the various attributes? What are the various parameters that are given? A lot of questions that may be covered in the define cluster. And then how do you edit? How do you browse or edit? So in 3.4, we cannot edit it. For example, saying vsam processing is unavailable. vsam processing is unavailable. So then how do you edit it? By using a file manager. It is mandatory, either file aid or file manager. So we have various tools available. File aid, file manager. Okay. Ditto, InSync, Ditto. Like this, various tools are there. Out of that, the most used tool is a file aid and file manager. These two are extensively used. And this is a CompuWare tool, and this one is a IBM tool, and this one is a CA tool. Okay. I don't know about Ditto. I think that's also IBM tool. Ditto is also IBM tool. Coming to the file manager. Here I'm using a file manager. So how to use a file manager?
M13.
M13.
I'm going to M13 file manager, and I want to edit the data. Edit. Give the dataset name here, and give its copybook here. Copy library, and then copybook name, and hit enter. So insert 10 records, one record. First of all, 01 batch number, 001 roll number. We are least bothered about the names, leave it. Active student, course name, mainframes, 25,000. Paid amount, 15,000. Now, I just repeat it. I'm taking three students from each of these batches. Sample data. So this is how we can edit the data in the vsam files. Data saved. So how do you edit or browse a file, vsam file? By using a file manager. We cannot use a 3.4, but we can also use by using a PSO print IDS name. Okay. This one. First record, second record, third record. Like this, we can see all the records. So what is the command? PSO print IDS in dataset. I give the dataset name, hard-coded dataset name here. Without a count. For example, if it's a count of 2, it will show us only, see here, first record and then second record. Are you clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next one, how to use these files in the application program COBOL. Let me write a COBOL program on a KSDS file first of all. So let me write each of these programs. KSDS, SAQ, sequential read. I want to use a sequential read on a KSDS files. I'll write a program from the scratch. Environment. I don't like writing like this. Identification division. As per theory, it's correct. practically we don't use ID division, something like this. Environment division, input output section. File control paragraph. Under that select statement. Select. Okay. Yeah. You can give any name. File. Assign to some DD name. We give a meaningful name here. Okay. So for flat files, the organization access modes are optional, but for vsam KSDS file, it is mandatory. So organization is indexed. Access mode is sequential. Record key is important note. Record key is, what is the field name? STUD-KEY, correct? In the copybook. This is my
Yes, sir.
key field name. Okay. And then file status is WS status 1. My requirement is very simple. Read the file and display the records in the spool. Display the records in the spool. For that, only one file is enough. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Then num of caps on. So I think num of is given late. So it is already giving some numbers here. So remove it. Always write a program with a num of and a caps on. Next one. I'm writing a layout. Data division file section FD file name. Okay, and its layout. I want to give a layout here itself. You can also give a copybook. You know how to use a copybook. Now I'm pasting it here. Else in student file I will keep it like this. I have a problem finding okay, in taking layouts, in taking the file names. I don't follow the proper naming convention. That's my biggest problem in student file. Right, so student record and then its layout. The next one. So working storage section. Under that 01 status 1. X of 2. Next one. So procedure division. Now, I'm not using paragraphs here. I'm writing a inline performs open input. Okay. In student file. If status 1 equal to 00, continue. Otherwise display file open. Okay. Open failed. Open is failed. Display status 1. Status 1. And move 12 to return code and use a stop run. Then there is no difference at all reading a flat file sequential, reading a KSDS file sequential, reading a ESDS file sequential, reading a RRDS file sequential. There is no much difference. Only difference is here. Organization and record key. These are mandatory. Organization, access mode is also optional because default access mode is sequential. So organization is mandatory. If you don't give organization, it is going to treat that as a flat file. But what we are giving in the JSL is a KSDS file. It will fail while running. So that's the reason organization is mandatory, record key is mandatory for KSDS file. If you're going with the sequential access mode, no need to give an access mode sequential, but mostly we give a organization, access mode, record key. These three are recommended. These two are mandatory. Organization and record key are mandatory for KSDS file, and access mode is also recommended. If you are giving, even though it's sequential, better you write it. For random, it's mandatory. If you want to give a random, you give it like this. Random, access mode is random. If you are going for a dynamic access, dynamic. So for sequential, it's optional, but better you write it. So it's optional, we write it. Important note, the record key, what you are giving here, the key field name, must be there in the file. Must be there in the file, in the layout of the file. So if this name and this name is not same, it will fail in the compilation. It will say that you're saying a student key here, but which is not there. For example, student ID. If you give student ID here, there if you're giving student key, it will throw error while compiling the program. Saying student key, but student key is not there in the layout. So be cautious. If you have 2 fields or 3 fields combining a full key, okay, you must use a group field. You cannot use a record key is a batch number, comma, roll number. We cannot give it like this. So key is always a single field. It may be group field or maybe elementary field. It's a single field. If you are combining multiple keys as a key, then you have to give a group field. Guys, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So then, for a sequential read, we don't need a key at all. Okay. So how we read a flat file? The same way we read a KSDS file. Perform until status 1 equal to 10. End perform. And we know that how to read a file. Read a file name in student file. If status 1 equal to 0, 0, otherwise the last record may be processed twice, then display, okay, student, simple requirement. And then finally, close the file. Or else I remove this in also. I'm not comfortable with this. Student file, stub. Yeah. Student file. Student record. So my program is ready. Finally, stop. Done. If you want to write in a paragraphs, you can keep this open statement up to here in a open para, and whatever the lines you are keeping here, keep it in a process para, and keep this line in a close para, and then stop it. So perform 100 open files, perform 200 process until status 1 equal to 10, perform close files, 200 process para, 300 close files, and stop them. And use the paragraphs, your wish. To reduce the complexity, I'm going like this. Yes, do you understand? Better readability,
Sir.
I'm going for inline perform. Opening the file is opened successfully, continuing and reading it until end of file. For every successful read, I'm only displaying it. If you do not give this if condition, the last record may be displayed twice. My program is ready. So I don't have a compile JSL here. Well, let's go to the 3.4 and the demo dot compile, go to xcop, and whatever the compile JSL used for the batch COBOL program, same here. Pure COBOL program and COBOL vsam program has no difference in the compilation. Batch 10 dot vsam dot source library. Did we create a load library? I think I have created it. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yesterday we created.
Yes, we created it. So when copy lib is not available, use the source library as a copy library, no problem. Then use the load library. And program name SDS SEQ. Access 0. Successful compilation. Let me create a run JCL. Yes, KSDS SEQ J. Job 1, job notify equal to ampersand this UID. But in the real application, we give a class, accounting information, programmer's name, at least a class, message class. Up to here, we give it. Okay, but here it's not required. But in the applications, we give that job lib dd dsn equal to dsn equal to batch 10 dot exam dot load lib, comma, this equal to share. The requirement is very simple. Read the file and display in the spool. ASDS SEQ and STUDFLE is my DD name, DD. It's going to 14th, right? Okay. Is an equal to batch 10 dot ASDS dot student, this equal to share. This out DD, this out equal to star. Enough. Submit it. Let's go and check it in the spool whether the records are displayed in the spool or not. The records are read from the file and displayed in the spool. Guys, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
For example, if you have a different status codes. Okay, let's see. I'm taking out some active and terminated students. In that case, if you want to display only active students, create one more condition in the program. Create one more condition in the program after read statement. So I'm checking file status is successful or not. Read is successful or not. Then we apply one more condition here. Correct or not? If student status equal to A, then only display the record. Or else you want to find out total amount paid by all the active students or total geo amount from all the active students. We can apply some conditions here. Instead of displaying it, we accumulate it. Or else if I ask you to write the active students who are having a due into the output file. So what should I do? I need to take one more flat file as output file with some layout, student number, student name, and then fee amount, paid amount, geo amount. So I declare a layout in the output file. Then I use a calculation. I move the data to the output file layout, and then I write it. Are you clear with this? We have already seen many programs like this in the flat files. No much difference here.
Okay, sir. Okay, right.
Yeah. So are you comfortable? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So you take some requirement and then write the students who are having a due. Here, check this one. I am not giving a key. I'm not giving a key. I'm not giving a partial key. Or I'm not giving a full key. I'm asking to display active students, which is a condition on the other than the key field. Yes or no? It's not a key field. For example, if I'm asking you to write only the mainframe students into the output, I'm applying a condition on a course name. Or else the students that are having a due amount, that I'm asking you to apply some calculation and then condition on the due amount, which is not a key, which is not a part of the key. In that case, you need to go with the sequential access mode. If requirement is to read the entire file, if your requirement is to apply a condition on any other field other than the key field, right? In that case, what to do? We have to go with a sequential read. We have to read the file from top to bottom. Yes, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But if I give key, so display this particular student only, or else I have input file. That input file is having some keys. Okay, I'm asking to get this student information to another output file. Take a requirement like this. Okay. I'm giving a file one. Else, yeah, file one is my PS file. I'm asking you to write into file 2, again a PS file. But what you need to write is a data we need to get it from the KSDS file. So I'm giving some student keys here, student numbers here. I'm asking to get those information from the KSDS file. And if the record is available, write into the second output file, or the output file, sorry. So this is a input file. This is also input file, but this is an output file. I'm not asking you to read the entire KSDS file. For example, in this file, okay, 01, 001, 01, 003, 02, 003, 03, 002. So only these students, I want to get it into the output file. You understand the requirement?
Yes, sir.
Actually, student information is stored in the KSDS file. We call it the master files. Master files. Master file is nothing but a KSDS files. Okay. So I have a flat file. I have a keys, just a keys in the flat file. Now I need to get the information about this each key from the KSDS file and write into the output file. So in this case, we have three files. This is a driver file, and this is a file which we need to use it in a random access and read this one and move into the key of this KSDS file and read it. If it is a successful read, we get 00. If the record not found, we get a file status code 23. So based on the condition, on the status code of the KSDS file, you write into the output file. If it is 00, write into the output file. If it is 23, skip the record and go to the next read. Do you understand? So here I am asking you to get some keys, not all the records of the KSDS file. I'm not asking you to read the entire KSDS file. Get only the given students from the KSDS file and write into the output file. In this case, this is a flat file. Definitely we need to go with the sequential access. This is also a flat file, which we need to go into sequential access, but this is a KSDS file. To read this, I have a key available in another file, correct? Key-based read, not complete read. Key-based read. Only this record, this record, this record, this record. Only these 4 records I want to read from this KSDS file, one after the other. So in this case, what access mode is required?
Sequential.
No, this is a
I
random
know.
access.
Yes, sir. Random.
This is a random access.
Random.
Yeah, flat files anyhow, sequential access mode. There is no other mode, access mode at all. But a KSDS file, you need to go with the random access. Okay. In the other requirement, I'm asking you, I have 10 batches. Assume there are 10 batches. I given batch number 01, 03, 07. Only these 3 batches, active students from these 3 batches should be written into the output file. Active students from each of these 3 batches should be written into the output file. In that case, I read this one sequential, then I start the KSDS file, and I get all the students on the first batch. Whenever the batch number is changed, and I stop the process of the reading a KSDS file, then I go to the second batch. Then again I start it and I go for read next. In this case, this is a sequential access mode. This is also, the output file is also sequential access mode, but the KSDS file is not a sequential or random. It's a dynamic access mode. Because I know the partial key. I know the partial key. And I want to get all the records from the particular batch number. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So in this case, we go with a dynamic access mode on a KSDS file. So we'll see this little later using a multiple files, but let me write a second requirement, KSDS random. I'm not using such a requirement. I'm taking a key from the sysin and I want to read the same record from the file. I want to display it. If the record is available, display it. If the record is not available, display the same thing, record not available. Guys, do you understand? Requirement is very simple. Okay. Get the key from the sysin into COBOL program. Then read that particular record only, not all the records. Let me write a JCL first. I don't want to read all the records. I want to read only the student key 01003. I want to read only this key from the KSDS file. The record is available, display it. If the record is not available, display record not found. Do you understand the requirement?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me write a program for this. KSDS random. That's my program name. So almost same, but access mode is a random. I'm not using a multiple files here. Read it and display in the spool. I'm not writing into another output file. Read it and display it. Are you clear? And nothing to change it here. Open it. No difference in the open mode. I'm not inserting or I'm not updating, I'm not deleting records here. I'm just reading it. So for that, open input only. Are you clear? So I don't want to perform here because I need to read only one record. Accept WS student key. We'll take a working source variable. Picture. It's of 5. Move WS student key to student key. Read student and if status 1 equal to 0 0 or else evaluate status 1 when 0 0 display student record when 23. What is the meaning of 23? I told you.
Not open, sir.
Oh,
Read not successful.
read not
Record not found.
record not found. When other, it's not both, it's a critical situation, other critical error. It may be anything else. Okay. So critical error. And evaluate. Generally, when you accept something, we display immediate. Okay. Simple. To read random, move the value to this one. Okay. Move the value to this one and then read it. Move the value to the key field and then read it. Move the value to the key field of the file and then read it. Okay, I'll tell you, there is another syntax. Key is STUD we can use it, but it's not mandatory. We can remove it. And there is an invalid key. There is a clause. Instead of checking the file status code, we can also check the invalid key. Invalid key means 23. I told you, attend condition. Is it mandatory? We can also check with a file status 10. Is it mandatory to use attend condition? No. We can also use a file status 10. Okay. So leave it. We'll see that little later. So get the key and move into the key field of the file and read file name. And make sure you use the random access here. That's all. My program is ready. SDS random. Successful compilation. Compiled successfully. Now let's go to the JCL. KSDS random JCL. So KSDS program name is random. I'm using a 01003. And also, sorry for that, I want to display I want to show you if it's 23 or 00. Yeah, let me submit this one. Let's go to school. So student key is a 01003. Status 1 successful read, and it is displayed. Let's take another student 01004. Do we have that student? We're taking only three students in each batch. Do you have it?
I don't think so, sir.
No, sir.
No. So let's submit it. We get a file status 23, record not found. And we never get end of file. In a random access, we never get end of file. On a sequential access and a dynamic access, we may get end of file. But on a random access, we never get end of file, either 00 or 23. Guys, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me go to the next program, dynamic access mode. So access mode is dynamic. First of all, let me write a JCL first. KSDS DYN J. Let me create a JCL first. KSDS dynamic. That's my program name. And I want to give a 02. So display all the students from second batch. Display all the students from second batch. That's my requirement. Okay. Oh, sorry. Now I'm going to the program. Access mode is dynamic. And now I'm not taking a entire student key. I'm taking a WS batch number, which is a 9 of 3. 9 of 3. Open the file. From here, I'll write it from the scratch. Okay. Oh. For both sequential and random read, use only one read statement only. For sequential read, no need to move the value to the key. For random read, we need to move the value to the key before we read it. Correct or not? For sequential read, no need to move a value to the key. But for random read, we need to move a value to the key. Guys, do you understand?
Yes.
So now, dynamic read, we need to use a start. Start, file name, key is, first of all, accept WS batch number, and move this batch number, WS batch number, to the partial key. What is the full key here? Student key. What is
Student key.
what is the partial key?
Batch.
Batch number and roll number, both are partial keys. But you should know the first partial key to read the file dynamic. If you know, for example, if you know if you want second batch students, we can get it. But if you ask me, roll number 003, roll number 003 may be there in the first batch, second batch, third batch. Can we start it? Let me open the file. Here, yeah, I can start either here or here or here. But can I start here without knowing this first one? I don't know batch number, but I know the whole roll number. Is it possible?
No, sir.
No, sir.
For example, if I ask you to open a page in a dictionary that starts with I, letter I, letter I. Okay, you can start it. But if I ask you to start the page, the second character of the word is I. Is it possible? The second character of the word I, start the page that has a second character of the
Yes,
word,
sir, possible.
okay, which is not correct requirement at all. So here also, we should know the first partial key to start it, not the second partial. If you have three partial keys combining a key, you can start the first partial key, or you can start with a combination of first and second partial keys. But without knowing the first partial key, if you know the second partial key, it's meaningless. Okay. So if you want to start it, you should know the starting partial keys, but not the ending or middle of this. So coming to this. So in the select statement, no difference between a sequential random dynamic except the access mode. There is no change in the record key. There is no change in the file status. There is no change in the organization. There is no change in the select clause. Only change is there in the access mode. There is no difference in the layout. There is no difference in the file status. But there is a difference in the read. For a sequential, we read it until end of file. For random, we move the key and then we read it. We never get a 10. We get either 00 or 23. For a dynamic, accept the partial key and move the partial key to the partial key of a file and start file name key is equal to key is equal to batch number. Can we start with the full key? Yes, of course we can. I know the full key. Okay, I know second batch, second student. I want to start from here. I want to read end of file till end of file. We can. I know the full key. Start with the full key and go for until end of file. We can. But mostly we start with a partial key. Guys, do you understand? We can also start with a full key. In that case, here we need to say, so move W student key to student key and start student file key is equal to, okay, full key. So either you can start with a partial key or you can start with a full key. Very important note, start does not retrieve any record into the application program. It is going to place the cursor. It is going to place the cursor on the appropriate place. For example, if you start with the batch number 2, it is going to place cursor here. It doesn't retrieve any record into the application program. Important interrupt question. Does a start retrieve any record? No. Start is going to place the cursor and the file in a given position. It doesn't retrieve the record. So when do you get the record? On the read next. See here, accept a partial key, move the partial key into the partial key of the file, and read the file name, start the file name, key is equal to the partial key name. Can we use a greater than? Yes, greater than or equal to? Okay, equal to, greater than, we don't give not equal to here. So equal to, or else greater than, or else greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. Okay, so these are all the options available, but mostly we go with the equal to. So start file name, key is equal to batch number. If status 1 equal to 0. If it is a successful start, display status 1 head start. So accept the partial key, move the partial key to the partial key field of the file, and then start the file name, key is equal to the partial key. Now, if it is a successful start, then perform until, okay, status 1 equal to, this is not a correct one. I'll tell you why. I'll change it a little later. First, let me execute it. Read student file. Okay. Next record. Next record. This is the extra keyword required. So in a dynamic access, we use a read file name next record. If status 1 equal to 0, 0, then only display So I'm reading until end of file. I'm starting the file with the partial key. If the start is successful, going for a read next, read file name next record. Read next means read next file name. It's not read next file name. Read file name next record. This is a keyword. It's mandatory. Start file name key is equal to the partial key. Read file name next record. And if the status 1 equal to 0, 0, display it. Let's see. Guys, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I got my access. I think a WS batch number or something is not declared. Batch number is declared, but that's a problem.
Sir, there is a spell mistake, sir.
Status 1, okay. Is this?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. It's successful now. So let me execute a dynamic. My requirement is to read only second batch students. Let's see what happens here. I want to display only second batch students. 1 second. Start itself is failed. Start itself is failed. Okay, something wrong. Start itself is failed. Yeah, I've taken a 9 of 3 here. It's 9 of 2. That's a mistake actually. Go to school. So I got second batch students and also third batch students. See here. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Only second batch.
Yes, sir.
But from second batch till the end of file, it is displayed. So start, you can say where exactly you need to start. But stop, it doesn't stop. That also you need to maintain. You need to stop it. So either end of file or okay. WS batch number not equal to or WS batch number not equal to batch number.
0, 2.
Or else we write like this. If it is successful, read next. Don't display it. You check it. What you started, what is there? What you started is in the batch number, right? WS batch number. What you read next is you'll get it in the batch number. So what you started is a WS batch number. What you read next, you get it into the batch number. File layout. So if batch number equal to WS batch number, then only display. And if else, move Y to stop loop, switch. Little confusing, interesting. Guys, see here. I'm starting with a partial key. See, this is not changed. This will not be changed. I'll get, say, for example, 0 to here. So throughout the read next, it will not be changed. But in the first read next, I may get a 0 to here because there are 3 students. 0 to here. For the next read next, 0 to. For the next read next, again 0 to. For the next read next, I get 0 3 here. Correct or not? Guys.
Yes, sir.
So then, if both are same, then only display it. If both are not same, what I started and what I read next is not same. That means I am going beyond the partial key. Then I need to stop it. It's my requirement. I need to stop it. Program doesn't stop it. Till the end of file it will go. But you need to stop it after the partial key changes. That's why if batch number, what I am reading next and what I started is same, then display it. Otherwise, move Y to stop loop and use a stop loop indicator. So you need to use the 2 conditions here. Your requirement is from the second batch till the end of file display all the records. Then no need to use this stop loop. Yes or no? From the second batch, you display all the students till the end of file. In that case, you don't need a stop loop. Yes or no? But if you want to display only second batch students, start with the second batch and go for read next until the second batch changes. Until the second batch changes. So if the batch number, what I read next, what I started is same, then display it. Otherwise, stop it. So let's see. So what should I do now? I need to declare a stop loop indicator. If you don't want to use another indicator, you can also depend on a condition. You can use a condition like this. Or batch number not equal to WS batch number. We can use directly a condition here. Here we need a condition, and here also we need a condition. Instead of that, we can take a switch. So let's see now. Go to spool. Here, it is stopped after second batch. Can you see that? In the earlier run, it is stopped after the third batch, but in this run, it is stopped after second batch. Okay. So in a dynamic access, we need to stop for 2 conditions, either end of file or the partial key changes. Guys, I hope you understand this. You want me to explain once again? Okay, accept a partial key and move the partial key to the partial key of the file. Start file name key is equal to the partial key field of the file. If it is successful start, go for a read next, either end of file or the partial key changes. If it is a successful read next, if the partial key is same, it is from same batch, second batch, then display the student. If the partial key is not same, if the third batch, then move Y to stop indicator, and then it will be stopped after the next in the next iteration. And then close the file, stop them. Guys, all of you, do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. That's all for today. I'll send you this to the email. So let me download it. Transfer, see from host. Put the dataset name in the quotes, in the braces, the star, and click on the members. You'll get all the members here. Now browse it and go to the spacey and go to desktop and create a new folder. So batch 10.vsam.source library. Then create a notepad when you're downloading it for the first time. Text document and then open. Now remove this new text document and give a star.txt and select all the members here and say click receive. vsam is a very, very easy subject, man. If you know the files very well, it's very simple. It's an extension of the files. So vsam apps. vsam batch 10. Remove this new text document. Select all these members. Send. Thank you very much. That's all for today. So catch you on Monday to the classroom training. Okay? Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Shashi.
Bye.